Hello, this is the contest. Fantasy Footy Show where we assess our strengths and weaknesses. Oh no! I'm Jesse. I like redraft. I'm K-Man. He's a dual hat winner. We're your hosts. We like fantasy footy. You can follow K-Man on Twitter at K-Man_TC Fantasy. And you can follow me on Twitter at Contest Fantasy. K-Man, mate, how you doing?
Good. May the 4th be with you. Always.
And also with you.
And also with you.
Oh, wait, no, that's the thing we do at school.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah. And also with you. May it be with you too.
Are you a Star Wars fan?
Look, yes and no. I'm a bandwagoner. I like Star Wars. I'm not like, I'm not in love with Star Wars.
Ooh.
I'm not a nerd for Star Wars. But I think you might be.
Oh, 100% nerd. But,
Yeah.
and this is where, we always get into the debate of which ones were better. The older ones that came out, A New Hope, was it 1978?
Mm-hmm.
78?
Something like that.
And then he came back and did the prequels. Did the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll talk about that in a second. And then we had the sequels. So it came back. Disney brought it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know. Where do you think Star Wars is at the moment? It's kind of, is it tarnished?
I have no idea. Oh, yeah. Of course it is. The new ones are rubbish. They are so, like, The Force Awakens I enjoyed, but it was essentially, it was a retread of A New Hope.
But I didn't mind that. I didn't mind the redo just to get the fans back.
Yeah.
So what's your bet? What's your fave? What's your fave?
My fave is what's the third one of the original again?
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi is my favorite because it's for nostalgia. The Empire Strikes Back is objectively the best for sure, no question. But Return of the Jedi, I watched that thing. We had like a VHS tape when I was a kid, and I'd sit there and I'd hold rewind, bring it all the way back to the beginning, and then I'd watch it again. And the Wookiees, it was great. It's good time.
Yeah, Empire's my best. And now the new ones, I liked Rogue One. I really liked Rogue One, and then the TV show.
Yeah. What was the middle one? What was the second one in the new that was rubbish? Rian Johnson directed it.
Oh, that was
Luke Skywalker threw the lightsaber.
The
away.
Last Jedi, and there was Mary Poppins Leia. Yes.
Do you know I left the cinema in that?
Did
film?
you see? That's
I saw
interesting.
it in the cinema, and I was in there alone. This is when I didn't live with my wife, and I was like, oh, I'll go out, I'll watch a movie, and I got 2/3 of the way through, and I was like, this is rubbish, and I only saw the ending later. And then I was even more angry.
Okay. Because I went to the midnight screenings of the prequels, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and I walked out. Attack of the Clones is by far one of the worst movies I've ever seen, ever. Up there with Nick Cage.
Oh, leave it. Leave it. Leave it. You and Vams just need to back right off. I want to hear from the people. Nicolas Cage, at us on Twitter. Let us know. Yes, I want the people to back me on this. The Nicolas Cage trifecta: Face Off, The Rock, and Con Air, greatest action movies in the 90s.
Can I also
I'll move on.
What's worse, Attack of the Clones or any Nicolas Cage film?
Actually, to be fair, The Wicker Man is quite atrocious.
Is it?
Have you not seen it? He dresses up as a bear and punches someone.
See,
he just runs around as a bear in a bear suit.
I think I prefer that than Attack of the Clones.
Well, it's not boring, at least.
That Santa gets everywhere.
Because that's the... Well, that's the knock on the prequels, isn't it? They're just so... I mean, if you're really into political Senate hearings, intergalactic Senate hearings for a few hours, the prequels are probably up your alley, right?
Yeah, with a little sidekick of Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you said to me you wanted to talk about Star Wars, I put out a little poll on Twitter earlier today. And it was just a quick one. I said, it's May the 4th, greatest Star Wars movies and moments. And the options I put up were Ridge Tridge, prequels, Disney, and it's complicated. Yeah. Now, can you guess guess what one?
A Ridge.
Guess this.
A
Ridge Tridge, of course.
Yeah.
We knew that was going to win. Can you guess the percentage?
Oh, have to be above 85%, right?
Well, not only was it 90%, 0% put prequels or Disney, and 10% put it's complicated.
It's complicated.
Which no one elaborated what that means.
I don't even know what that means, but it says everything.
Oh, a couple of people I think put the what's the animated series that's really popular? The Clone Wars. A couple of people put some
Clone
gifs
Wars.
from the Clone Wars in the comments.
Yep. Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah. Okay, Putty Spuds says prequels really aren't that bad.
No, they're bad.
They're bad.
So bad. Green screen.
The green screen is atrocious, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it wasn't great.
Hans said, as a 10-year-old, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw this. And he has a gif of Darth Maul with his dual lightsaber. Made a pretty ordinary movie more epic. I will say, do you know what I've always found hilarious? Is the polar opposites of like the lightsaber fights in the original trilogy versus just being kind of like these long broadsword laboring fights. And then they're like all acrobats.
They're all ninjas all of a sudden. Their training must have got so bad.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's a good time.
Anyway.
Look, before we get stuck into it, if you dig the content, remember to chuck us a follow and a 5-star rating over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Really helps the show grow. Like, share, subscribe over on YouTube if you can. Our YouTube channel is starting to pick up some steam now, which is awesome. Boy. So thank you so much for supporting us over there. We will endeavor to get more content. Oh, you're wearing your t-shirt today?
Yeah, I found it.
Mine's in the wash now. Love it. Yeah.
I like it.
Me too. I'm really proud. Might we'll get a whole wardrobe.
Yeah. Wear it to work.
Contest t-shirts. Wear it to work. Yeah. I wore mine to the gym the other day.
Yeah.
Okay. It was a bold move.
Yeah.
No one recognized me. Yeah. Really kept the ego in check, you know. It's like, oh man. All right, we've got a great show lined up today. We're going to do the trade block as usual. We're going to go around the grounds, and we've also got a really interesting discussion on comparing where we're at this year comparatively to around this time last year, because we got some stuff to talk about with the comp this year. There's some problems. But first, as always, giddy up and Mike the Phony.
Giddy up.
Like you didn't call me a phony?
Welcome to Giddy Up and Mike the Phony, where we use childish puns to summarize our fantasy week. Let us know your punny best and worst of the week on Twitter, and we will laugh at them on the pod. We put that post up every single Sunday, so you can share in the fun. K-Man, take it away as usual. Who are your best and worst of the week?
Look, I've got 10, but I'll try and race through it.
What's different?
Okay. So my giddy up, it goes to Slain Killera.
Yeah, boy.
Bouncing back after a 60 as a pod option. And but kicks a goal on the siren and then they pull it back. That was a killer.
Oh, that's brutes.
That was a killer.
That's brutes. Lynn's in the name.
That's right. Special mention goes to Back Zaley on debut for the mighty sack lunch.
Back Zaley, I like that.
And the Van Buren boys.
Woo!
So I had a few guys who were tag targets. I don't know what the Van Buren Void tag sign was.
Yeah.
So Dacos and Cozzy, thank you. That could have been anything. And Cozzy with a 98 and Dacos was my VC with a 120 odd. My Mike the Phony, there's a plethora. Clark Kent, because he ain't no man to steal. Come on.
Yeah, look, I liked it because I don't own him.
Yeah, because you don't own him. Oh, it was
good watch.
Sunday. This is my favorite, Misery. Misery is a Stephen King book, and he's also the coach of Melbourne. And it was misery watching Max Gawn play at full forward.
That's a good little link there.
Yeah, did you like that?
I like that.
I thought that was cool.
Like that. That's nice. Very literary of you. Very English teacher. Nice job.
Well done. Good book too. Good book. What about you, my man?
Yeah, look, I share in one of my giddy ups this week. He was one of them last week. Snack Bailey is back. Yeah. Oh my God.
That was cool.
That man is looking good. He's on fire. And Luke smacked him. Luke Jackson is looking like the ruck to have. This was a great situation. I messaged you on, what was it, Thursday night or Friday night or whatever. And I was like, I'm in a conundrum. My loop was Watkins. And he was playing at the same, like half an hour after LJack started. And so I was having to make the decision, do I just commit to Luke Jackson as my VC, or do I roll into Wash? And after I think it was a 31-point quarter, I committed to Luke Jackson. Either way, it would have been fine, but it paid off.
Yeah.
Mike Mathoni's this week. Luke Davies Puniaki. Because that was rough, although apparently he's done a hammy, and I have a feeling he was probably fighting through that one to get to 78.
Yeah,
so well
good
done. It's probably a bit rough. And look, this one might seem a bit out of sorts, but Junk Sinclair, the king of junk time, Jack Sinclair.
50 points in about 10 minutes.
Oh, my goodness. Look, I'm glad he got to a ton. I know I seem privileged at this moment, but can you be consistent, mate?
He didn't look there.
Doesn't look interested. Doesn't look interested. We've got some heaps and heaps from the listeners this week. I'm not going to sort them into giddy ups and microphones. I'm just going to read through them. We've got Eli Atunyo.
Yeah,
Eli Atunyo.
Very brave.
That's
very
a brave trade in.
Yeah.
And Damn you, Clark. Yeah. Jordan Clark has been not good this year for fantasy.
Yeah, compared to last year, he was the consistent 95 guy.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I look at him every week and think, oh, could I do it? And then I check his match stats and go, no, can't do it.
No, can't do it.
Holmesy says Holmesy's anti-heroes. That's pretty good.
That's
nice. Dane it for everyone else, but I have Zorko.
Yeah.
So Henza holding Dane Zorko. Washing away my worries, Croft. Love it.
I like that.
A very neatly packed suitcase.
The Clugs.
Traded into the Clugs. Todd, shall I give you a donut at halftime? Jack's still gorgeous, yet still crap. And Josh Day ruined Koss. Yeah.
That's a
he's
couple
a hard
now.
watch at the moment. Yeah, I'm not liking it. Jack 100% wool. Jack Steel wool. There you go.
Yeah, Steel.
Hugh Mc, oh no, I forgot to submit my trade, so I guess I'm bringing in Sam Cumming instead. Luggage. That sounds like a story, Dave.
Yeah, we need more than that.
Mate. Bailey no snail. Bailey no. Oh, Dale, right? Because he's quick. There's too many Baileys. There's Bailey
There's
Dale.
Baileys everywhere.
There's Bailey Smith. There's Zach Bailey.
They're all doing well.
We got Bailey Dazzle. Yeah, 2%. So he's a pod option. 2% ownership. 129. Look, I'm glad I brought in Clugs. I'm happy with it. It was a good trade. But in Captain Hindsight, I had Dale and Newman there all week, and either way, it would have been better off. And then, and you know, Hugh McCluggage has not. He hit his break even. He has not gained a single dollar.
Yep.
It would be exactly the same.
Yep.
So if you brought in Dale or Newman last week, and you were waiting on Hugh, bring in Hugh this week, and I think that's smashed it. Okay, this one. Noah, Mike, that was so not right. Bolter. I think that's a movie reference. Mikey, that's so not right. Do you know the movie reference? I don't know the movie.
I think it is.
Pax, I'm so sorry. But Noah Bolter, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That must be a pod and a half, 2% pod going 119. Oh, he traded him out. And then he went 119. Pax, that's brutes, mate. Jason, not so horny, Francis.
No. Boy.
Oh.
Patches O'Houlihan.
Yeah, that was rough. Patches O'Houlihan. Cole back and forth McKercher.
That's a good one. Who knows where he's playing?
I kitty you not. He's the man. Kitty Coleman.
Yeah. Well, he did get a ton, didn't he?
He got the ton. He got like a 104 or something.
Nice.
So he was good. He was
good.
After a bit of a slowish. No, actually, it was a slow second quarter, but every other quarter he was awesome. Couple more. Jason Frigid Francis. We've got it's pretty good.
I like
It's
that.
pretty good.
That's
good.
Oh.
Nick, you are a new man.
Yeah.
and Jason Not So Horny Francis again.
Frigid wins it for me.
Frigid wins it for you.
That's great.
Thank you so much for bringing in your Giddy Ups and Microphonies of the week. Again, if you want us to read yours out on the show, join in the fun, have a laugh with us. We put the post up every Sunday. Let's go around the grounds really, really quickly. There's some changes in positions that are going on at the moment. The magnets are being tossed around. We've got injuries. We've got players maybe returning. It's an interesting space. LDU, if you're an owner like me, possible hamstring. Looks like he's got some tightness this week. He seems to have done it during the game, but he played through it. So fingers crossed that he comes good and we don't have another injury to deal with. How does it feel having Max Gawn in your team there, buddy? Playing forward time, seemingly?
It was gross. It was gross because Max Gawn can't beat anyone one-on-one in a goal square. He has zero forward craft. This guy's a ruckman. And it's classic. You got Max Gawn at full forward, so let's just bomb it. So he's competing against 4 defenders at the same time as well. He's not going to lead. That was hard to watch. And then second half, I did a tongue-in-cheek. Are you ready for a 70-point second half? And you put your number one guy in a position and try and win them the game. So you raised it earlier. There's some positional changes, but they're key personnel. So we've got Ash playing in the midfield and then small splits at half forward. You've got Gawn playing forward. I saw Callahan playing at half forward at times. Kirch, who knows? The merry-go-round of Kirch at the moment. Just key players that you think are important for team structures are now just getting thrown around. Is it fatigue? I don't know, but I don't know. It's very early. What are we, round 8? Round 9. It just seems very early that this has occurred to key people.
We got Brody Myercheck out for 3 to 5 weeks with a hammy. So what's the impact going to be on Melbourne there?
Yeah.
Are you thinking? Are you thinking a situation with, say, like a Cozzy Pickett having to pick up some slack in the forward line? Like, what do you see as being the relevance to our fantasy with this one?
Max Gawn owners aren't going to like this, but I could see 60% forward time against
I feel dumb immediately.
Against West Coast.
Correct.
Why would you play at West Coast? And we talked about this before recording. Grundy and Gawn look sore. They look tired. They look like they could use a spell. So, pretty good opportunity for West Coast to just sit Maxi up forward and have a very low time on ground.
Jared Berry out for another 2 to 3 weeks. So if you've got, say, Zach Bailey in your forward line, if you're trading into a Clug, if you've got a Wash, if you've got these Brisbane mids, there's a few more weeks probably of... it'll be interesting to see what happens with Zach Bailey, I think, once Jared Berry comes back. I know Jared Berry's not a big CBA guy, but he does get rolled through there. I have a feeling, though, that the CBAs might stick with Zach Bailey just because it's the contract year. They're trying to convince him to stay. We'll give you a little bit more time in the midfield. It's just a bit of a hunch at the moment. Brian Myers still 1 to 3 weeks away, but he could be in our trade plans maybe post-buys or something. That could be he might get really cheap. Timmy T, I would hope, would be back this week. That's a couple weeks off after his head knock, so he must have had a pretty nasty concussion. I wonder if he is back, I wonder the implications on, we saw Sam Cumming come in and do a fair amount of CBAs.
Yeah.
Does Sam Cumming's CBA rotation kind of get rolled back a little bit? Can we expect more 80-plus games from him or not? Just maybe a small flag. The biggest one, I think, is probably this one, which is Connor Buderick is only a week, maybe 2 weeks, but I think it's a week or so away. So we'll chat more about the implications of that later when we talk the trade block. But obviously, if you're thinking of bringing Bailey Dale in after coming off 3 really good weeks, there is some interesting correlative data on DFS that looks at the splits in terms of their scoring capacity when both of those guys are in the team. So definitely something to watch this week. Do you have anything else to say on that list of players there before we move on?
No. We'll wait for injury reports to come out tomorrow.
But
But
interesting.
we are just starting to see some sore bodies, aren't we? So we've heard that Bont could be managed this week. And I just think leading to mid-season buys, especially those teams who didn't play opening round and haven't had access to an early buy period, might be just starting to go, okay, I think we can withhold some personnel from week to week. Collingwood's done it. The Bulldogs looks like they're going to do it. McCluggage has been eased. So I just think we need to keep an eye on these players. Bailey Smith, what did he score, a 70 on the weekend? And we know that Chris Scott likes to rest his players as well. So it's just something to keep an eye out.
Great Scott. Sorry, a tick from last year just came over me. Hey, before we get into the main chat real quick, I just wanted to talk to you about something. Something came across my desk today. It seems that someone has taken a picture of our Contest Fantasy Footy Show whiteboard.
A whiteboard?
Through the window.
Dude, and that's private.
The strengths and weaknesses of each of our fantasy teams, Team Channel and Sack Lunch, were just there on the whiteboards. Do you have any idea what that whiteboard said?
Well, firstly, who would want to sneak into your house to look at it?
Just ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, come
on.
You let people come and kick a footy on your front lawn.
Yeah, that's it.
And this is how they repay you.
Yeah, you bring the neighbour over to play with the kids and their father came in and thought, this would be great. Can you believe he's talking about Sack Lunch?
I think it means we've broken through. Where people actually care. Do you want to know what it said about Team Channel strengths and weaknesses?
Yeah,
because this stuff. Look, strengths, ceiling scores from a selection of pretty volatile half forwards in the half forward line.
It's honest.
Look, it's true. I do expect that it will all come crashing down in about a week's time.
It's out there now.
I don't love that my team is really relying on the collective scoring capacity of Shea Bolton, Chad Warner, Josh Rochelle, and Zach Bailey.
Yeah.
Other strengths, the two towers, Jackson and Grundy. So you know how we did admit that we were wrong about Lockie McAndrew? I think we were right.
I think we were right.
I think we might have been right.
Yeah.
We should do another bit.
We'll do another recording.
Yeah.
We're going back
weaknesses,
to...
though.
Back to confession.
Back to confession.
We're going back to confession.
I like it. My weaknesses, though, a little offensive, owing thousands on rookie roulette tables. That's been a painful one. And debt, left a lot of points on the board, on the table. And stress, frankly. My life is falling to pieces over stress. So I just can't keep it together. I didn't get to see your board, though. What did they say about your...
I'll start with the weaknesses. So 2 weeks behind the competition. So got to somehow get some points and value back in the team. No cash. So the money's gone. We have no money in the bank. So that's obviously a weakness of Sack Lunch. And strengths, this is personal, but wife. That is a strength.
Why would... Shocking. All right. Should we get to the main chat?
Oh, yeah, that's terrible.
Everyone, we want to do the round 8 review. We want to do this a little bit differently. We see some key differences in how the game and how the comp seems to be playing out this year. So I'll pass over to you, K-Man. Talk us through this. What is going on with AFL fantasy in 2026?
Yeah, so I was thinking this long weekend, we had a long weekend here in Bris Vegas, and I was just looking at my side this year compared to last year and what's changed. I mean, I'm still getting my head around the last month of people paying up for, and I was guilty of this, your Max Gorns, your Bailey Smiths, Nick Dacos, and it just seems to have been the opposite of every decision and every move we've made in the previous 3 years. I mean, this time last year, we were looking at players like Ned Long. So Ned Long came in as just come out as a older rookie, was at Hawthorn, came through, 700K. I think it was cheaper than that. We were looking in Chad Warner areas, 861K as a mid/forward. There were some big names on the table, but that's before they had their breakout year. So Max Holmes was just shy on 900K. Jack Steele was an underpriced premium after what he'd done years before and was coming off injury. Josh Dacos hadn't really produced the consistent scores that he's starting to see now, although his last couple of weeks were probably more. Well, his last couple of weeks are probably more where he was at, right, before he became relevant. So we were shopping in these areas, and it just seems this year, and we'll talk about the why in a second, but teams seem really different this year. The scores we got more of this top end talent, and we're still looking for more. And I just don't know where this money's going to come from. And I feel like the last 2 rounds have been normal fantasy again. You're trying to find ways to downgrade a rookie, upgrade a rookie. You know, you got your Newmans, your Bailey Dales, your McCluggage, and it feels just a little bit more settled. But I know my team I've made decisions that have been the complete antithesis of what I've done the last 2 years that have been successful. But I just think it's something we could unpack and what that means with our trades moving forward to the buy period.
We've talked a lot about this over the last pretty much for the whole season. Like we've talked a lot about this kind of not while we're recording, I suppose. There seems to be this pattern of like this year people are paying up. They're trying to get to the big dogs. You listed off those names: Nakos, Baz, Gorn. There have been a few others as well. And I've been thinking about this a lot because it's been, I think what's been really interesting for me is I've been feeling all season that I've been missing out on these guys. Like I've been in no position at any point this season to trade for a Nick Dacos, to trade for a Bazlenka.
Bontempelli.
A Bonds. Like I just wasn't in a position to trade for these guys. And I was like, well, what's the difference? And the key difference was, other than Connor Rozee, I haven't really copped, and Connor Buderick, I haven't copped a significant bullet this year. I didn't start Errol Goulden. I didn't trade into a Dane Zorko. I didn't have a Tim English. So all these bullets that a lot of other people have had to deal with, I didn't. And so as a result of that, I think it's actually worked out in my favor. I've been forced to stick to this process of purely going for underpriced guys, finding the bargains, and that's worked out for me really well. But I think there's this... so many coaches copped these injuries. Errol Goulden went, and so, well, what was the logical thing to do? You didn't want to pick a guy who was this much money and then trade into a guy who only cost this much money. So everyone went, okay, well, let's jump on Nick Dacos. Tim English goes. And so everyone goes, okay, well, let's go all the way up to Max Gorn, Bazlenka, Bonts. And I think it's this thing where at the beginning of, this is my hypothesis, tell me what you reckon. I think at the beginning of the season, there were so many injuries, people have almost gotten used to just going all the way to the top to cover those top end injuries. And it's created this false sense of expectation. It's like, well, this is what I should be doing. I should be able to get up to each week. Well, I should be able to get up to a top end guy because there have been so many trades that have come out of necessity to trade in those top end guys that now this year that feels normal. And I tell you what, I've seen, I'm on one of the Facebook groups where people post their teams and ask for advice every week and whatever. I'm seeing a lot of teams that have the following names in them. I'm seeing a lot of teams with Jack Sinclair, Lockie Whitfield, Lockie Ash, Nick Dacos, Marcus Bontempelli, Bazlenka, all these Max Gorn, all these top end guys, and they've got 5-6 rookies still on field, and their team value is $22.3 million.
Yeah.
And so I think we're going to see this point now where those teams that keep trying to push, they've sacrificed that cash gen at the bottom end. And I'm seeing some teams with, 3 injured rookies or 3 non-playing rookies on the bench as well. So I just wonder if we've been lulled into this false sense of expectation, and what do we do moving forward? Do we keep trying to reach to the top, or do we need to reevaluate and go, like you said, last year we were looking for Ned Long at this point for $700,000. We've got Newman, we've got Dale. Is that just the answer? Is that where we should be going?
Yeah, well, again, if I compare what I did last year, so I'd be looking for these value guys, and then when I saw the odd opportunity, so I brought in a NAS really early, round 6, round 7. But that was it in terms of top end. And I'm just finding coaches, every week, what's my next high guy? What's my next high guy? What's my next high guy? And I'm just concerned that heading into buys, you're going to have, a close to a completed team, but then what are you going to do from there in terms of the guys you're getting in? And there was other elements to this. So again, early season buys, I think we learned slightly from last year that we could bring in more uber premiums and have more rookies, and we could hide behind that best 18. The thing about this year is the rookies did well. The rookies did well, and the mid prices did not do well. I can't off the top of my head give you a mid pricer like a Ned Long that we started and there's still in our team. Maybe a Tanner Bruin. Tanner Bruin might be the one.
He's been the best.
But apart from that, we've had to remove all these guys. So I think it's a perfect storm of all of those. The injuries, having the opportunity to pay up because we had so many rookies that were doing well and more rookies this year. The Guns and Rooks approach catapulted teams into that top 1,000. The mid prices failed, so we had to shift on them. And now we're at the stage where it just feels more normal. And you're right. I think the ones who are disciplined may start seeing more variance week to week consistently. And I know this week I'm going back to the value train and seeing what I can do to maximize my cash. Be really invested and considered about my downgrade targets because they still need to be making money, and then heading to mid-season buys where I'm as close to getting rookies off field, but I have a plan of attack that in buy period I make my team better, and we have 3 trades a week, and then coming out the other end, it's all about really maximizing your trading options from there. It's really, really interesting this year.
It's kind of like, sorry, when you said, going to the next high guy and the next high guy, it just made me think it's kind of like, it feels like rounds 1 through 8 were night guy.
Night guy.
They were night guy. They were going out, they were having fun, they were going to the parties, they were staying up late doing the movie marathons. They're like, I'll take a Baz, I'll take a Nakos, I'll take a Bont. And then round 9 to the rest of the season, it's going to be day guy. And day guy is going to be dealing with the consequences of night guy's actions.
They're dealing with now Zerhas and those types of things. I mean,
look, and I don't. Sorry, I just wanted to say I don't say this as this doesn't come from a place of smugness or anything, because I have not been immune to any of this. The amount of conversations that we have had not recording where you have talked me off the ledge of going all the way to the top or trading what I saw as a failed mid pricer, and you're like, mate, stick to process. Don't move on that guy yet. Just remember this is the goal. So none of us are immune to this. I think it's worked out for me a little bit out of pure fluke. I haven't copped injuries that have allowed me to do some of these moves, and I guarantee that I would have. I absolutely would have. So none of us are immune to this, and I think we just need to kind of be careful about what are the moves we do at this point ahead of the mid-season buys to set ourselves up for that point in the season where we really need to be getting to the top-end talent.
And I think last round just proved why it's really important to stick to process, because the rookies have now stalled. We're getting sub 65 scores. So if you're a team that's got all of these and you're playing roulette and you don't know which to pick because you got 6 of them, I'd just be getting them off field, going to Newmans, going to your Dales. You can use mid-season buys and post buys to start then bringing in underpriced premiums and premiums. But we can't start having 50s and 60s on field if really savvy coaches are upgrading them from round to round.
Yeah. I think here is a good point to acknowledge that a week or 2 ago, we had an episode where we did think about, hey, the rookies are going really well. Can we actually continue to let them go well for a little while? And we were, no. I think this answers that question that we were pondering of within a week, the answer is no, stick to process because they're beginning to tire.
It's so funny you should say that, because I remember that episode where we both said we don't have the answer on which way to go. And I think last round gave us some of the answers that we probably required.
Absolutely. So This is going to be a really interesting round, and I think maybe that's a good segue into the trade block, because I think there's a lot of conversations to be had about some of these players and the directions that we can go with them. It's kind of like if the Beatles were today, that's what they'd sound like.
Well, who moves away from a country full of ponies to a non-pony country?
Should I get that?
That's Seinfeld.
Is that the pony remark? The pony remark? Okay. I think is the pony remark season 1 or 2?
It's got to be season 1 or 2. I've always loved that line. Who moves from a country full of ponies to a non-pony country? Doesn't make sense.
Welcome to the trade block, where we chat upgrade targets, downgrade targets. But first, we chat about the players who need to.
Get out of here! Go home! What are you, crazy? You're a real nut, do you know that?
I even put in that little spiel at the beginning.
I know.
It's like
but what I do, so once you put the music in, then I go back to the run sheet and you lose sight of the...
that's funny.
No.
That's all good. So the players that need to get out of here, there's a list of guys this week.
Yeah.
Take it away, K-Man. Who needs to get out of our teams ASAP?
Yep, so if you've got red dots starting to multiply, Dev Rob has a lot of cash on his head. If he's still there and you don't have Avenue... I think it's time. I think you need to start using that money to be able to make some upgrades. If you've got Watkins, if you've got Lombards, if you've got Farrows and Murdochs, I think Dev Rob can go now. And you've got an interesting strategy this week. If you've got a McAndrew at R3, so you could potentially now bring in your red dot. So if there's avenue to do that, so you can still have a vice captain and captain loops, maybe look at it. We just don't want red dots piling up. Dev Rob's money should be going somewhere.
McAndrew's an interesting one because I think he's absolutely a name that you can trade out if he's at your R3, and you can trade him out if he's at your R2 as well. You can move him up to a big dog at the ruck. Although I would suggest that I think if he's at your R2, he's still kind of getting it done. And so I don't know that I'd be moving on him yet if the rest of my team wasn't pretty much bang on. If I could still go one up, one down somewhere else, that's probably where I go with McAndrew. The interesting thing about McAndrew at R3 is I think it's kind of, you're in a unique position if you've got him at R3 because you can hold him through the buys and you can use him as buy round cover for your big dogs and potentially get an extra 80 or 80 plus on field. Having said that, the end of the buy rounds are 9 weeks away. So that's a long time to hold a guy who has theoretically maxed out in price, and he probably won't drop much, but he might get injured 2 quarters into a game on 38 and then lose a bunch of cash that way. You never quite know. So it is an interesting one, where I think for me, where I follow McAndrew is if you have him at R3, my intent is to hold him. However, if he's got so much money on his head that if he gets you to a guy that you do really want and a good rookie, then I'd be happy to tick that off and just move on him. Although I guess you'd have to bring in a red dot rather than a good rookie. But yeah,
he does have Richmond this week. So if he's ever going to
matchup.
get a really good matchup, I think this one's one to keep you for. LDU hamstring. I guess we'll find out in the next 24 hours what that scan will look like. If it's 1 to 2 weeks, it may be a hold depending on what you're doing. But if it's 2 to 3 weeks, I think he's done a pretty good job. What's he done for you in terms of making cash?
Look, he's losing money now. So he's been fine. It's just the last couple of weeks he's kind of put up a couple of stinky scores in a row, which is, I'm just opening the app because I don't know if I think he's actually lost money on the season now. Unfortunately, he's at 899, so he's lost 21K. But he did his job in the first, 5 or so weeks. He's averaging 93 on the season. So he put at one point he was averaging like 101. So he's done his job. I agree with you. 2 to 3 weeks, get him gone, and that's actually kind of an interesting scenario because if if you've got an LDU, but you've also got a troubling forward line, like you could probably get someone good in for LDU and then bring in. There's one really solid looking rookie forward player that you could bring in to deal with someone like a Watkins or a Devrod and make some money on the other end too. Caldwell.
I feel sorry for these coaches.
I'm so sorry if you started Caldwell.
He looked so good in preseason. Well, he didn't. There was an assumption he would look so good in preseason and be one of the top 6 midfielders after what he did last year, but must have carried something in early preseason. Just hasn't looked the same. Been playing out of position at times. Then on the weekend, just saw him go off the ground. So
I think if I've learned anything from this season, it's that unless you are an elite kick at halfback, do not buy a bomber. Like, outside of Archie Roberts, really, who has actually done a solid at the Bombers, excluding cash cows?
yeah,
Don't love it. Max Gawn? Can you move on?
He was gone at halftime. Remember I said to you, he was gone at halftime. Playing forward, it was gross. Max Heath, although Max Heath's sitting at my R3, so I was kind of in this weird space of conundrum. You can't have a Max Gawn at that price playing full forward, not getting any marks, not impacting the game. There's no forward craft there that's going to enable 3 to 4 goals from a key positional player. If that continues and he doesn't beast up 75-point second halves, you can't have him in your team. You just can't. No. But for him to come back and score a 101 just shows the qualities of the guy at 36, 34, 35, 36 years of age. And now it's 34. Just what's Stephen King going to do from week to week? What's he going to do? But the other thing is, again, I said it earlier, Grundy looks sore and tired. Laddams, I assume, is going to start coming in.
The tricky thing with Max Gawn is that his break-even is now 146.
Oh, gross.
And traditionally, you would say he could almost meet that against West Coast this coming week. But it's an easy game. Is this not the game to rest him forward? Lots. So it's almost a thing of, I think, let me ask you this as a Max Gawn owner. If you don't move him this week, is that and he goes sub 100, is that what level of disaster is that?
It's the nature of the 90. I said it to you maybe when we were having the conundrum about a Max Gawn and a Grundy who to bring in, and I said notoriously Max Gawn does not do well against these lesser teams. He just doesn't. I can't see him putting up a 140 this week against West Coast. More forward time. My checks out. Max Heath looked great. He looked good, and he outrucked Grundy in a lot of the first and second quarter. So it just depends his score build on the weekend. But if he gets a 70 or 80, I'm going to have to get rid of him.
I guess I was looking at it from a perspective of he's already gone down so much in cash. You know, you paid nearly 1.2 million for him. He's now bet down at 1.076. He's projected to go 98, which will lose him 40 grand. If he goes less than 98, like you might all of a sudden he might be under $1 million if he goes badly enough, if he rests forward fast enough.
Yeah, I'll be paying up for an LJAX.
Long enough.
But that would have to be, I don't know. It's a disaster. I wasn't forecasting with a number of these guys who have shifted position. But again, he did just show that, boy, if he can have at least, what do you have, 50% CBA time, 40% CBA time and knock up a 101? Let's just get back to reality, Stephen. Kang.
We got a ton of rookies that you need to get rid of as well. If you're like me and you're holding it, I mean, look, I've got Jack Watkins at the moment, but he's currently my loop. So if I'm moving on him, I'm almost wanting to bring in another red dot, to be honest. So that's just something to consider. But Jack Watkins, if you have multiple red dots, get rid of him. Leo Lombard, it's long past due time to go.
He looked good.
I know.
He looked great on the weekend. Scored a 67.
He looked great preseason, and then he wasn't. You can't trust it.
It was very clear that I think there was a conversation had during the week because suddenly he was pushing up to stoppage. He was exploding through stoppage, completely different player. So whether midweek there was a conversation where you either need to go back to the VFL or let's start at least doing your tackle pressure, at least trying to come up to stoppage, inject yourself into the game, which hasn't been evident for the past month.
Well, I believe he was a
so I thought it was
midfielder
good.
in the juniors. I'm pretty sure he's a midfielder by trade.
He was great.
He should look more natural in a midfield role, I would think, or in a role where he can get to stoppage. Okay, well, maybe you can hold him another week. What's his break even?
30. It's lower than your Lindsay's and your Sarongs and those types of things.
So you could probably give him another week to see if he continues that Brian Myers-esque role.
Especially with, and we've talked about it for a month, the lack of forward downgrade targets. There is one this week, but there's certainly not a line of all these guys we want to bring in.
And defensive. So this is the next thing with these next few names.
Yeah, we're running
Michael
out.
Selwood, Lockie Jakes, Sam Grill, Jacob Farrow. Like we could, Josh Lindsay. I think you can. I think Josh Lindsay's got another week in him. Personally, his break even's lower than Farrow. His break even's lower than Sarong. I'm actually ready to move on from Sarong before a Lindsay, so I think you can get rid of a Sarong as well. But this is the conundrum I'm in this week, is I've run out of DPP defenders.
Yep.
And I didn't think about this in my trading. And now when I got rid of Blamires, I should have gotten rid of Watkins and figured something else out, but I didn't. And now I'm in a bit of a pickle. So that's something I would urge our listeners to consider, is to be more specific. I've currently got Jai Sarong, Josh Lindsay, and Jacob Farrow as my defensive rookies. If I wanted to move on from a Sarong and a Farrow this week, I don't think there are any defender rookies you can actually bring in to replace those guys with that you would be confident to have as cash generators. So I can only move on from one of them this week and hope that someone else appears. So just keep that in mind if you're moving on from these defensive rookies. But Grill, it is absolutely time to go. Jakes, it's absolutely time to go. So I'd be moving them ahead of Lindsay, Farrow, and Sarong if you've got them personally.
Isn't it funny how we had all of them? Sarong, Grill, Lindsay, Selwyn. Like, we have so many defensive guys that we can be flex, and now they're gone. They're the ones who have made cash.
I tell you what, if you were a savvier coach than I, and you thought you saw this coming, well done. Murdoch, you've got Murdoch on the list.
Why not? You start. I mean, we saw it. Game 1, great score, but what did he make? 10 to 12 tackles. And for someone who's that young coming into the AFL, that's not sustainable. And we're starting to see 2 scores now where the tackle numbers are low. Season fatigue. He's had an injury, soft tissue injury. I don't know. He might have DPP flexibility. He'll be a great forward cover mid-season buys. Break even of 44. He's up to 600K. He's up to 600K, but if he knocks out another 60 this week, suddenly his break even is matching his score. He's a fair price. And then another 60, and we're starting to think, well, he could start losing some money. So
totally.
I think for those coaches who in a luxurious position, it could be one of those rookie car-changing decisions where you go a week earlier than other people, especially if you don't want to start getting rid of all these defensive rookies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I like that. I think it's totally team dependent, isn't it? For me, I think it just depends how many of these other guys you have. I'd be probably playing the break-even game of, like, if there's some guys with a break-even that's 20 points higher. But totally, like, if you're in that luxurious position, he's still got a fair amount of money on his head. If he can get you to an underpriced premium, then you'd rather have the underpriced premium. If he can get you to there's only 200K difference there. Yeah.
So next week, I know you should never. I can't do it this year after the injuries have copped, but I've got a Murdoch to McCluggage next week.
And then the last name we haven't really talked about yet that's on this list. So we've got can we move on from a Rochelle now, or was that last week? If you were going to make that move, was that last week and now you're holding him through the buys? Because I think the crowd will be doing that. I think the crowd, broadly speaking, will be holding him through the buys. He's just a hair over 800K, so he's still got a decent amount of money on his head. But his break-even now, for a Josh Rochelle, his break-even actually hasn't really moved, 114. Yep. So if he's just lost 30 grand, he'll lose another 30 grand, so he'll be down to 770 odd. if he hits that sort of 75-ish projection. Can you move on him now, or do you think you'd have to be in an ultra luxury position to do that at this stage?
I thought he was really unlucky. 2 goals, 3, and he missed 2 of those goals from straight in front. Right in front of me.
I think I tweeted about it.
So that's a 95. He just scored, I know you can't be ifs and whats and buts, but what was it? 14 disposals, 4 tackles, 5 shots on goal. I don't know. I think I'd rather a 71 from Rochelle in and around fair, even price than having these rookies on field.
Question for you. Just want to give you this scenario.
Yeah.
Could you trade out a Rochelle to bring in, let's say, a Toby Murray, field using a Cook in Rochelle's spot? So let's say Cook is now your F6. Could you do something like that? Move a Rochelle now to bring in a rookie, make an upgrade elsewhere on your field, and have Cook at F6. If you could still get, say, a Newman or a Dale on the other end, or something like, or a McCluggage on the other end.
I personally wouldn't, because you're still at the same. You've just added a rookie on field. I don't know. Is Cook going to score 90 every week? I'm sure his break even's
Probably
great.
Not.
No,
He's averaging 71.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk upgrade targets. So who are those players that are in the crosshairs this week as potential, the exciting trades? These are the ones everyone wants. This is what we want to know. But this kind of goes back. I think we're going to have that lens on of our previous discussion from this episode of who are those guys that, are maybe super tempting, but is it the right time, versus who are the guys that it's right there. They're right there. They're in front of us. They're presenting. Should we just pick them? So let's talk Nass and Lockie Whitfield at the moment. I think they're about 10K off of each other. They're very similar in price. Nass has an okay-ish run, but nothing outstanding. Lockie Whitfield has, outside of Brisbane in a couple rounds' time, his next 5 look really, really good for half-backs. And I think the conversation that I've been seeing on Twitter this week about Lockie Whitfield is actually less to do with him and more to do with Ash. So Lockie Ash played in the midfield this week just gone by. We had Fonty back in. We had James Leake back in. A good friend of ours, Vam, said that was probably the flag that Ash was going to move in the midfield when those two came into the team. A lot of people on Twitter are saying Whitfield is now in must-have territory, because if he's the solo operator, so to speak, down there outside of a Fonty and a Leak, does he now just reclaim his 110 kind of form, and could he explode in combination with that great run? Is he now truly underpriced, and now's the time to get him?
Oh, what's 103?
If Ash continues to play midfield.
Well, that's it. It was. I mean, he took every kick in pretty much. There was a few where he was out of position and couldn't take it, but it's taken Ash out of that kick-in territory. So not only is he controlling halfback with kick-ins, he's still floating wherever he wants, up to stoppage from defensive 50. He just seems to have free reign. So you could imagine a 110 to 115 is going to be pretty regulars with that run. Whether that's enough unders to bypass a Bailey Dale or a Newman, team dependent. But with I didn't think the Ash move is enhancing GWS in any way, because at stoppage, they have a Clayton Oliver, quite defensive in and under. You have Callahan, who's just waiting at the source for decent pill. Toby Green was tough on the weekend as well. I just didn't know what Ash added. It wasn't a shutdown role. He was standing next to Petrarca, but would just drift. So I just don't understand the Ash role at the moment, and I don't have any clarity whether that's going to maintain from what I saw.
I've just done a quick calculation, and Lockie Whitfield, using the magic number from Bid in That over on Twitter, magic number this week is 9,591. Lockie Whitfield is priced at 107.
Yeah.
So
5 to 7 points, maybe. Like, if he does what he is projected to potentially do. But if he goes at 105, then technically
you've overpaid for him when you could have gotten a Dale or a Newman. What's Newman priced at now? Like 90 something. I don't know what Bailey Dale's priced at now at the moment.
I like Dale's run. I really like his run.
Well, should we skip straight into these two players? So we just talked Nass versus Whitfield. For me, if you're like, I want one of those guys, I think for me it's Whitfield for the run over Nass. He's like 10 grand more expensive. I'd probably go that way if I was picking between the two. But let's compare it to, I think they're kind of like your options at that top end. Newman and Bailey Dale, just as they were last week, are your options at the bottom end.
The value end, yeah.
How do you feel about these two guys coming up?
I like the Bailey Dale one. And I know Budrick's back in a week or two, but how much time has he missed out of footy now? Over a month?
He's been out since round 5 or round 6, so it's been a long time.
So it's a month. Everything's going through Bailey Dale at the moment. He's commanding half back and getting his +6s. I just don't see Budrick having the time on ground to impact him. After what we're seeing, 5 players now on the bench. So he's able to be managed and integrated back into AFL. He's going to be off the pace. And the Bulldogs have had a couple of rough weeks where they're starting to slip in terms of the top 8. And I think they need their big boys to stand up. And I think that includes Bailey Dale, unless he starts getting tagged and man managed, and we see deficiency in ball. Then I think Budrick is going to stand up. But I just don't see that Budrick is all of a sudden going to take Bailey Dale's output away.
I don't like Newman's matchup this week. He's playing us. He's playing the Brisbane Lions. They have been a really, really rough matchup for halfbacks.
Roberts,
we saw. Exactly. We just saw what happened to Roberts. And you know what's interesting about Dale is that I've heard that Freo are, quote, not meant to be a difficult matchup for halfbacks. But when I was looking at these guys, I talked about it on the pod last week, when I was looking at potentially trading in one of these guys last week, and I looked at Dale's matchup with Freo, and I kind of went, actually, halfbacks this year have not done particularly well against Freo. Like, they've not done terribly, but they've not hit ceiling scores. Some of them have come out with mid-80 scores, some of them with like 98s, that kind of thing. So I faded him for the matchup, and then he went out and he did a 129. So if he can do that, if he can do a 129 against a team that maybe has been not as easy as predicted for halfbacks, I mean, what's he got? He's got Port coming up, who haven't been particularly easy for halfbacks this year, but I don't know. Port doesn't look great. No, this year, like the eye test makes you go, well.
keep rattling off round 9 through to round 15. Rattle those.
Well, we've got
off.
Port, but then we've got Carlton, Melbourne, who are like the number 1 team for halfbacks this year, I believe. Collingwood, who are the number 3 or something for teams. I actually don't know much about Hawthorn for halfbacks, but I think Adelaide are not bad either. And then St Kilda after that. So he's got you're right. It's a really good run. So I do really like Dale.
Then he goes, Swans at the SCG into West Coast, Gold Coast, Richmond.
Yep. And then he goes Freo again, who he just scored 129 against.
Yeah. The thing about Dale is he's back to, I just want the ball. Give me the ball. Yeah. Like he's demanding it. Yeah. And that's when
if you don't get him this week and he goes big again, then he'll be over 900,000. And all of a sudden we're not in mid-price territory.
Areas.
We're in underpriced premium territory. Dale's priced at 90 at the moment, and Newman is priced at 86. But I think for the matchup, I'd be going Dale this week. And then Newman theoretically could still be under or close to 800K next week anyway, if you wanted to potentially get your hands on him then too. Okay, so I think we're on team get in one of these guys. Get in a Bailey Dale over a Nass or a Whitfield if you have to stretch yourself to do those other ones. Whereas if the price is right for a Bailey Dale, if he can serve up 100 to 120, why not pay a couple $100,000 less for him? L. Jackson Sherry, trade in targets in the ruck line. How do you feel about this?
Oh, I just thought I'd bring it in. I mean, we got English, who is going to be dropping a lot of money. His break even is through the roof. And if anyone is looking to fix up a Gawn and a McAndrew, again, very team dependent. L-Jax is now the best ruck in the competition at the moment. His ability to kick goals, absolutely kick goals from everywhere. Ruck, midfielder, he tackles, he wants ball. He's really good for Frio's transition from defensive 50 as well. And Sherry's starting to do Sherry things. I know it was a really good matchup against a ruckless Cats, but he's starting to tackle again. I just think we have these options. If you don't have a Grundy or don't have a Gawn, I'll be shopping in these areas at the moment.
Maybe one thing to keep in mind with L-Jax is, I mean, theoretically, Sean Darcy is maybe 5 weeks away. Look, I know he may not come back at all, but he might come back. And with how committed Justin Longmuir has been to the dual rucks scenario, with how much money they're paying a Sean Darcy, I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that they force him back into the side if he gets healthy again. So that would be one thing to consider, whereas Tristan Sherry is well and truly the sole ruck.
The solo man.
I think if I didn't have L-Jax, that could be, if you were trying to really figure out which way to go, that could be a deciding factor, though I do think L-Jax has he's more agile than Sherry. He's got more strings to his bow, I think, than Sherry does in this modern footy.
And I think Darcy would have managed minutes as well with 5 players on the bench. Very low time on ground to ease his way back into it. They'll want Darcy ready for finals. So I think it'll be building that up.
If we're talking midfielders to trade in, Klug has got to be the number one target this week if you didn't get him in last week. He hasn't changed price at all, 806K, priced at 91. His TOG went up tonight to 75%, which is what we wanted to see on the weekend. So I would suggest Zorko didn't seem to be managed at all either. No, so I'd suggest they're confident in both. I mean, if they tried to manage him, he probably would have yelled at them.
He wouldn't come
run
off
on the field anyway.
He's not coming off the ground.
So I think you got to go out and get Klug if you're looking for a midfield upgrade at this time. He's too cheap. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, no, he's if he wasn't last week, it's this week and maybe next week. He's still there.
If you're still looking to shop in those kind of somewhat discounted spaces, then there are probably two names that come to mind, and that's Clayton Oliver and Finn Callahan. Clayton Oliver's 935K.
You saw it, didn't you? You saw it on the weekend.
Callahan's 955. Yes, I messaged you before we started recording today, and I said, I think I've come around to your way of thinking on Finn Callahan. He scraped a ton in what should have been a matchup primed for him to score a 120.
Yeah.
What are you buying? This is meant to be the golden run. What are you buying if you buy Finn Callahan now?
Yeah, his worth ethic is really down. The concern on the weekend was Kingsley shoved him at half forward. He obviously wasn't getting the output to win the game. The game's on the line. The game is on the line, maybe 2 or 3 goals down, and you put Callahan at half forward. I think that speaks volumes of where Callahan's at the moment. Whether he's carrying an injury, I don't know, but he's just thirst at stoppage isn't there. He's still looking for an outlet. To be able to distribute. I'd just like to see him in at times, be a bit more defensively minded. That was a concern. So, it was looking really good at halftime. And then as the game tightened up and it was a bit more scrappy and a bit more congested, his output declined, and that was a concern.
And sorry, Clayton Oliver is 946, not 935. I'm just trying to he's priced at 98 and he's averaging 96. So he's not value. I will say, though, I don't hate Clayton Oliver as an option just because of how much he costs. Like if you brought in Cluggage last week, maybe you jumped on a Dale or a Newman early. You've already got those guys in your team. I think a Clayton Oliver is kind of an interesting one. He sort of hits me as like akin to Jack Steele this time last year, where he's towing that line of being able to score a ton. He might give you a 110 or a 115 any given week. His floor at the moment probably seems to be about 90 over the last week. So I don't think he's a terrible option, but he's certainly not value. The last guy is Oh, yep. Sorry, you go.
I was just going to throw one at you. Mid-forward
do
flexibility. You've raised him before, actually. Bradley Hill from St Kilda.
Yeah.
Playing half-back role. He's got a mid-forward split, 880K. He's averaging 93 for the season. Really juicy role. So, again, if you're cash-strapped, maybe he's even at the moment. But he's just someone I think to keep an eye on, especially if you want to plug some holes with mid-season buys. What's his buy round?
Do you know who he's averaging the same as this season? The exact same.
93 LDU.
Justin McInerney.
Yep.
So, and he's been cheaper than Justin McInerney. He's essentially been doing the same thing with a couple of tons where Justin McInerney hasn't.
Yep.
And he's sort of plugging along. So I would say if you're like me and you have a team full of those guys, maybe don't go there.
No, that's right.
But no, I like it. Bonds, you could go 980K.
980K.
So cheap.
Isn't that
so
ridiculous?
Cheap.
And you just want to buy
cheap.
him now.
Well, he would be the number one traded in guy this week if it wasn't for his knee, right?
And that's it.
He'd have to be.
You can't bring in a
break
guy.
even of 126.
Yeah, and you can't bring in a guy where Bevo's gone. We think he needs a rest.
No,
but
there's
two weeks time.
There's a world where Bevo rests him this week, so no one jumps on. I know the following week is Carlton, and he could go 150. But there's a world where he doesn't hit his break even of 126 against Carlton, and then he gets cheaper again for his matchup against Melbourne.
Yep.
There's a world. One where it happens.
Yep.
Isaac Heaney, I think he's probably got an upcoming tag, so probably wouldn't trade into him this week. But if you're looking for that top 6 to 8 kind of guy that you want to get into your team, I think he's someone to look at in the next couple of weeks. And you've just flagged Dacos has a couple tags coming up as well.
Yeah, so again, we can't get all these players right. We've rattled off some good ones. Newman, Dale, Eljax, Nass, Whitfield, Callahan, Heaney, Cluggage, Bont. And then we've got Dacos, and you're probably thinking, well, he's the most expensive out of all of them. And absolutely, but he's got 2 of the toughest tags in a row. He's got Mullen, he's got Jordan. So what that's going to do in terms of bringing his price down for 4 or 5 weeks' time,
sorry,
mint and delish, all of them. He's a junior mint.
He's a junior mint. As someone who doesn't have him, I would love for his price to come down a little bit so I can get him during the buys.
Yeah.
Okay, and then last one for us to smash through, downgrade targets, because there aren't many this week.
Nope. It's the concern.
I think there are 4, and we've got them all written here. Can we rank them in order of priority? Do you have any ideas about your order of priority for these guys?
Yes.
Me too.
Do you want me to rattle them off?
Rattle off. Yeah, you rattle them off, and then we'll rank them.
Okay, so obviously Sam Cumming, if you don't have him, it's just straight in. Looked really good. He looked good in 2 games in a row now. A better position. Richmond, poor team, has so many injuries. So many injuries. And with the Taranto coming back, I still think Sam Cumming is going to get a lot of time on ground and he's going to have a really juicy role. I've got Toby Murray at 2 because I thought he looked great as a backup ruckman to McAndrew, who's now starting to see lower time on ground. He's getting fatigued. He can ruck. He can take a hanger. He can kick goals. -10 break even at 306K. And we talked earlier, if you're still with Gallops, you've still got Lombards, you've still got Cooks and all these players that we want to start using it to get downgrade targets in. I would have Toby Murray at 2. Dyson Sharp at 3. Probably has a better role than Murray, but it's the Essendon factor that make him 3 for me. They just dropped Sardis after 2 weeks ago. We said, how good is Sardis looking? How good is he looking? And suddenly he's dropped. So that is a Brad Scott factor, and I have Roby at 4.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much the same. Sam Cumming is undisputedly the number one. I think if you haven't got Sam Cumming, you have to get him this week, especially if your cash generation is not as healthy as it should be. Don't sacrifice, don't get yourself up to a Whitfield or a Heaney or someone like that if it means you're forced to bring in a 230, 250K debutant. Base your trade around Sam Cumming and get up to whoever you can afford to do on the other end. For me, number 2 is entirely team dependent on what's required. So I really like Toby Murray because there seems to be a complete barren wasteland when it comes to forward and defensive rookie options. So he will go up in price with a -10 break even pretty drastically, you would think, next week. At 306K, he is very, very cheap. Dyson Sharp, though, if your midfield bench health is looking a bit dire and you've been hanging on to some guys that you shouldn't have, or you've got some guys that haven't worked out, I think Dyson Sharp is a really fine option. He had 71% CBAs on the weekend. And I would hope, who knows with Brad Scott? I mean, who knows?
I don't know.
You would hope that holds at least at 60%. Roby, I think, maybe has done too little too late. I think I don't see a world where you've got all 3 of these guys in your team already. So I feel like Sullivan Roby, because of Toby Murray, is kind of moot, right? I don't think you're bringing in Roby over Dyson Sharp because Dyson Sharp is getting more CBAs. I have a feeling Roby will get some more CBAs than he's been getting because he really came into his own on the weekend. But he's like 378K. He's like 30 grand more expensive than Sharp. He's 70 grand more expensive than Murray. His break even is still not the best. It's like 22. So he's a distant 4th for me. And the only other one, there's no one that I'd be targeting this week, but the only other name we forgot to mention in terms of the get out of here's, a player I want to keep my eye on is Angry Anderson. He gave away 5 free kicks. You can't be doing that. And I do wonder, will he be named next week?
Well, they're resting
it's a
players.
Possibility.
Yeah, yep. Pendles is going to come back. It'll be interesting to see if Steele's side bottom has a week off after what happened with his hand. Long's had a break, so I'd imagine that Anderson might be the one who's going to start being managed with a few games under his belt. And again, Collingwood need to keep some momentum.
Like it. We done? That it?
Yeah, I think that's it.
We're done. Beautiful. All right. That's it, everyone. Thanks for joining. You follow K-Man on Twitter at K-Man_TC Fantasy. You can follow me on Twitter at Contest Fantasy. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Thank you for all the support. Join us on Friday morning for some trade therapy ahead of what is a very exciting round of footy. The Brisbane Lions are playing prime time again.
Yeah, what's that?
It's been,
is that Saturday night?
3 weeks.
Friday.
I think it's Friday.
Friday night.
Friday night footy. See you later.